I have a friend who asked me to extrapolate how it would feel like being rejected and how is the better way to handle it based on an experience. If I may speak to you about my experience of how I handled rejection, it was quite different when I was younger, when the blood was still thicker and stronger, and wisdom has not yet sink in the way it is now at my age. Because before, during the times when blood was so hot, and without having to consider, as I did not know my person for the wiring that I was downloaded at, I had a different way of coping rejection or handling it. And I could understand exactly that every person has its way of handling it, depends on his personality and his wiring. Because if I would speak of my experience, me, who had the trait of a superior inferior type of a person, who, like any one of us, has this duplicity, if not multiplicity in our character, we are gifted with the gift of camouflaging and or projecting something that we feel inside, if only to make it believe that we are the person that we want the world to know us. Although deep inside, we just are trying to project the kind of person that we are not. Okay. So, if I may recall back, when I would be rejected, I can easily actually bounce back that feeling by trying not to become a victim instead, but rather to victimize you or to victimize others. That's how I deal with it. But if you're the type who had this download or the character of a martyrdom, or who had this belief because of the emotions of victimization, who would easily accept defeat and would be influenced by the opinion of others, chances are you will be frustrated with your life the moment you are rejected. I can use this opportunity before to soar into life and to, instead of being rejected, I would rather be the person to throw back rejection on you, feeling that I would be victorious in that approach. But as I grow older and wiser in wisdom, I get to realize a universal principle that unless we get to know what loving governance is and how our actions get back to us, we will be struggling with the effect of the consequences of our wrong choices. And until I realized that every action we give to others will begin with how we become aware and how we invest love in ourselves, such that if we take it from the word, which we can quote in Romans 8:28, that all things work together for good, to include rejection, then we can bounce back from it over this thought, as the way we handle a certain emotion would depend on how we would actually process the every event or reality that would come to us. So if we take them very disempoweringly, we shall be a victim to an emotion that will, instead of inspire and motivate us to move ahead, we will be stuck up and stifled in our development. And the relationship that begins with ourselves will always show with how we relate to others, and the kind of life based on that relationship will definitely not be as productive as we would expect it to be. If we only come to realize that there's behind every rejection an opportunity to bounce back and become a better person, then we can do away with this feeling that disempowers us. And if we know how to use the gift of emotion, which is our GPS, and exactly learn the art of making a detour beginning with our mind, it will be easy to manage this trigger, whether it comes from anywhere, because the principle behind is, and the best advice by the geniuses who live beyond our times in the past is never to be ever influenced by the dogmas and opinions of others. In growing, we need to understand how we decide and process the emotions, the different kinds of emotions that triggers us, because this being the gift from God that we carry at birth is the only one we can control about. We have no control by the opinions and the approaches of others, the triggers that they can cause to stress us, but we can only control our own response to it. So whether or not you are rejected or what, depends on how you process that thought, and depends on where you project yourself for the future you'd like to happen in your life, such that if you would like to be affected or to be controlled by the stresses caused by others, which will stop you from not only becoming productive but becoming successful in your life, you can come up with responses that will not be in alignment to your goal. Personally, I have come to deal with this very productively and healthily, and staying in a healthy condition, okay, with good nutrition and rest, or new start in application, can very well help us to stay active, can help us to become very healthy in our mindset and in our outlook, such that regardless of what rejection we experience in our life, we can brush them aside in favor of something that we wanted to achieve in our life. Alright, so that is all I can share for now. I hope that you can take this home, this input that we are trying to share in this broadcast. Thank you very much.